The blade sliced through flesh with a wet, tearing sound. Blood sprayed across the marble walls of the underground passage. But this wasn't just another Roman murder. This was the assassination of a god emperor who had terrorized Rome for 4 years. Emperor Caligula, the man who tried to make his horse a senator, was about to die in the most brutal way imaginable. And the killers? His own bodyguards. What you're about to hear comes from eyewitness accounts that Roman historians tried to bury, because Caligula's death wasn't quick, it wasn't clean, and it definitely wasn't dignified. January 24th, 41 AD, Rome. The most hated man in the empire is about to attend his final performance. Caligula has no idea that today his reign of terror ends. He spent the morning as usual, talking to statues of gods, planning new ways to humiliate senators, maybe having a chat with his beloved horse Incitatus. But in the shadows, a conspiracy is brewing. The Praetorian Guard, his own protectors, have had enough. Today, I'm taking you inside those final blood-soaked moments. We'll see how a man who declared himself a living god died begging for mercy, how his killers turned assassination into butchery, and why his death was so savage that even hardened Roman soldiers were sickened by what they'd done. The morning of death. Caligula wakes up in his palace on the Palatine Hill. He's 28 years old. He's been emperor for less than 4 years, and he's already the most despised ruler in Roman history. This morning, he's planning to attend the Palatine Games, athletic competitions held in an underground theatre complex. He has no idea that his Praetorian prefect, Cassius Chaerea, is waiting for him. Chaerea, a battle-hardened veteran who served Rome for decades. A man Caligula has publicly humiliated countless times, calling him weak, making him use passwords like Venus and Priapus, sexual jokes designed to embarrass a respected soldier. Today, Chaerea gets his revenge. The conspiracy unfolds. The plot isn't just Chaerea's idea. Senators are involved, other Praetorian officers, even some of Caligula's own freedmen. They've been planning this for months. Why? Because Caligula has pushed Rome to the breaking point. He's executed senators for sport. He's forced men to watch their sons die, then invited them to dinner the same night. He's declared himself a god and demanded worship. He's bankrupted the empire with his insane building projects and games. Remember, this is the emperor who built a floating bridge across the Bay of Naples just so he could ride across it wearing Alexander the Great's stolen breastplate. The man who appointed his horse as a priest and planned to make it consul. But here's what most people don't know about that final day. Caligula almost didn't go to the games. He'd been having nightmares, vivid dreams about his own death. His wife Caesonia begged him to stay home. Even his soothsayers warned him that the day was cursed. But Caligula's arrogance won out. Guards don't hide from mortals, he declared. The trap is set. The underground theatre complex is perfect for an assassination. Narrow corridors, multiple exits, easy to control who comes and goes. Chaerea positions his men strategically. Some block the exits, others create distractions. The plan is simple. Isolate Caligula from his German bodyguards and strike. But they need the perfect moment. Caligula arrives with his usual entourage. His wife, Caesonia, his young daughter Julia Drusilla, his uncle Claudius. Hundreds of spectators pack the theatre. The games begin. Gladiators fight. Athletes compete. Caligula seems to be enjoying himself. He's making his usual cruel jokes, probably planning new humiliations for his enemies. Then comes the moment the conspirators have been waiting for, the kill zone. Around noon, Caligula decides to leave. He wants to go back to the palace for lunch and a bath. This is it. This is the moment. As Caligula walks through the narrow underground passage, Chaerea approaches. "Caesar," he says, "I need to speak with you about the day's expenses. A routine request. Nothing suspicious." Caligula stops, slightly annoyed but willing to listen. That's when Chaerea gives the signal. The first strike. Chaerea draws his sword and brings it down on Caligula's shoulder. But he doesn't aim for a quick kill. This isn't an execution. It's revenge. The blade cuts deep, but not deep enough to kill instantly. Caligula screams. Blood pours from the wound. He tries to run, but more conspirators emerge from the shadows. Cornelius Sabinus strikes next, his sword slicing across Caligula's back. Then Cassius Longinus joins in. Each blow is calculated to cause maximum pain, without ending the suffering quickly. The frenzy begins. What happens next goes beyond assassination into pure savagery. More Praetorians join the attack. They're not just killing an emperor, they're releasing 4 years of pent-up rage. Caligula falls to his knees, blood pooling around him. He's still conscious, still screaming. "I'm still alive!" he cries out, as if his divine status might save him. The killers don't care. Swords rise and fall, again and again. 23 wounds. That's what the historians recorded. But eyewitnesses said there were more, much more. The butchery. Here's where the story gets truly horrific. Even after Caligula stops moving, the attack continues. The conspirators are in a blood frenzy now. They hack at the corpse with a savagery that shocks even Roman soldiers. Some accounts say they cut off his head. Others claim they dismembered the body entirely. What we know for certain is that when they were finished, Caligula was unrecognizable. The man who had declared himself a god died like a butchered animal. The aftermath. But the killers aren't done. They hunt down Caligula's wife Caesonia. She's found hiding in the palace, clutching their infant daughter. Caesonia begs for mercy, not for herself but for the child. The conspirators show no mercy. They kill Caesonia with a sword thrust to the heart. Then comes the most horrific act of all. They take baby Julia Drusilla, Caligula's 1-year-old daughter, and smash her head against a wall. The entire imperial family wiped out in a single afternoon. The cover-up attempt. The conspirators try to present this as a noble act. They claim they've freed Rome from a tyrant. They march to the Senate, expecting to be hailed as heroes. But the Roman people are horrified, not because they loved Caligula, they hated him, but because of how he died, the sheer brutality of it, the murder of an infant. Even Romans, who were used to violence, found it excessive. The final irony. Here's the twisted ending to this story. The conspirators thought they were restoring the Republic. Instead, they handed power to Claudius, Caligula's uncle, the same Claudius who had been hiding behind a curtain during the assassination. The man everyone thought was too weak and stupid to rule. He became one of Rome's most effective emperors, and the conspirators, most were executed within months. Chaerea himself was forced to commit suicide. The man who killed a god emperor died by his own sword. Caligula's death was everything his life had been: excessive, brutal, and ultimately pointless. He ruled for 3 years, 10 months, and 8 days. In that time, he nearly bankrupted Rome, terrorized the Senate, and declared himself a living god. But in the end, he died like any mortal man, bleeding, screaming, and begging for mercy. The underground passage where he was killed still exists today. Tourists walk through it, not knowing they're stepping over the spot where a god emperor was butchered. 23 wounds. That's what it took to kill the man who thought he was immortal. But here's the real lesson from Caligula's gruesome end. Absolute power doesn't make you a god. It just makes your fall more spectacular, and sometimes more bloody than you could ever imagine. What do you think? Was Caligula's brutal assassination justified, or did the conspirators go too far? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to hear more about Rome's most twisted emperors, subscribe and hit the bell. Next week, I'm covering Nero's final days, and trust me, it's even more disturbing than this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.